وشباب العربي في صلب اهتمامات جيمي ماكأوليف. التقيت الرئيس التنفيذي لمؤسسة EFE التي تعنى بإيجاد الوظائف للشباب العربي، وسألته كيف تعمل مؤسسته في منطقة يشكل ثلثا سكانها الشباب، ربعهم عاطل عن العمل.
Yes, very important challenge that we're all facing in the region. We do that in a very simple way. One of the problems that exists in the Middle East and North Africa, and unfortunately in many parts of the world, is that young people are graduating from high school and university with some education, some degrees, but not necessarily skills that are relevant for the workplace. So we partner with businesses, over 1,000 throughout the region, to identify the skills that they need for entry-level young people. And then we design programs so that young people can get those skills in 2 or 3 months after they've graduated from school, are looking for a job but have no opportunity to get one, place them in that job and then support them.
You're an NGO. You said we partner with businesses. Do you also partner with governments, with ministries of education, with universities in the Arab world?
We do. It's very important, obviously, that one nonprofit can only do so much. We are really trying to establish a multi-sectoral platform for partnership with business, government, and other institutions. I'll give you one example. In Morocco, we're partnering with the Ministry of Youth, with many of the large businesses in the retail service sector, and other educational institutions, the universities, to basically provide thousands of young people the opportunity to get their first job. One of the other things that's very important, as you probably know in the region, is providing access to employers. So it's not just the skills, but it's linking young people who may come from low-income communities, may not have access to even know how to get a job interview or go to an employer to see if they have a need. So we're also providing access. And another important point is we have a very strong focus on young women in the region. Almost 50% of the participants in our program are young women who are getting their first job and their first opportunity to build their career.
Jamie, why do the young men and women who take your programs describe them as sort of life-changing experiences?
Thank you for that question. I think there are a couple of reasons. One is there's a lot of training that exists out there. In fact, there's a syndrome that people call training fatigue, because a lot of young people are going through training programs that might build a few skills, but actually it's not still connected to that first job or that opportunity. And what's transformational about our model is that we get businesses to commit to hiring our graduates. So we're training for a job and not training and then just letting our graduates go out and look for a job and maybe continue to not find one. So that really has provided one part of the transformational process. The second is actually what we do. What we focus on most heavily are those so-called leadership or work skills that everybody needs to be successful anywhere in the world. It's things like, how do you work in teams? How do you portray yourself confidently to an employer? How do you work in projects and solve problems? It's that very practical simulation of the work environment that many young people don't get in school. We're providing them in our training programs.
So Jamie, do young people come to you or do you go to them?
A little bit of both. Young people, now that we've been in the region for almost 7 years, are hearing about our programs from friends who've gone through and gotten jobs or relatives, also through Facebook and through SMS technology. We partner with organizations like Suktel that provide SMS blasts about training opportunities and job opportunities, and young people are hearing about our work through those platforms and through university and other NGO partners who are working with vulnerable youth populations to give them opportunities for a chance at a job.
Here at the WAF, you're the chairman of the Global Agenda Council for Youth Unemployment, and you're currently launching a campaign called I Unemployment, EYE. Tell me about that campaign.
The idea behind this initiative is that there's a lot of talk about the problem of youth unemployment, the challenge in the Middle East, North Africa. Now, we heard the statistics recently, the last few days in Spain, it's getting worse. In Southern Europe, really all around the world, we have an emerging global crisis of youth unemployment. So the Council is really now trying to move beyond the identification of the challenge and the crisis to promoting solutions that we know work in various parts of the world. So things like apprenticeship and mentoring programs that we know work. We want companies to adopt those, so we're trying to promote companies to say, hey, you know, you've got your manpower plans, but what about hiring 10 young people that you weren't planning for, provide them a pathway into their first job and mentor them on the job? What about entrepreneurship? Are we doing enough to get entrepreneurship curricula into the schools at for young people at the beginning of their school life, so they're learning those creativity, problem-solving skills early on? So there are things that we know work like that we're trying to get out in a much more powerful way to business leaders and government leaders to really begin to make a difference and really scale the solutions. This is the other problem we have around the world. We have great models. EFE, I believe, is one. There are many other good models out there, but we're, for example, working with a few thousand young people every year. We want to be working with tens of thousands of young people, and we need to figure out how to scale that up, and that's only going to happen if business leaders, government, educational institutions come together with shared commitment, shared purpose to make a difference for youth.